Altech is an international group. We are publicly listed in Australia and in Germany. We have a lot of running legs in the battery materials market. But today, Matthias, and thank you for all the guests who are listening, I'm going to talk about a solid state grid battery, and which is now under planning on construction in Germany. If we talk about a battery like this, let's look. The lithium-ion battery is a great battery. I mean, what is the main focus? Main focus is density. The smaller, the lighter, the better, and it has to have a fast charge discharge rate so that I can charge it in 10, 15 minutes. But there are challenges, as you can see. I mean, one of the biggest challenges is a safety issue. Batteries, lithium-ion batteries can have a thermal runaway when they're damaged, when they have faults, they have a short circuit, they overheat, and they go up in flames, and they really burn heavily because everything that you need for a big fire is in the car, inside the battery. And that's why you can't extinguish it. It's nearly impossible to take it out, which is a great disadvantage if you want to put it in critical places, buildings and otherwise. The other thing is that if you look about grid storage, mega parks, lithium-ion batteries is a bit like a child, like a baby. They really do operate in a small temperature range, which means if it gets too cold, they don't perform. You have to heat. If it gets too hot, even worse, they can't. You have to cool. That is operating expensive to keep it in this small, narrow range. And it is not really suitable for critical, supercritical climates, very hot or very cold. The other thing is that a battery gets old. Everybody knows this from his handphone. At first, when you buy it, 2 days, no problem. You have it for 2 years, twice a day, you have to charge it. It gets hot when you charge it because there are a lot of detrimental reactions in this battery. Dendrite growth, the separator gets porous, many things, the lithium ions, free ions, metallize and get lost. So even a car battery doesn't really have more than 8 years life or something, or maybe less, if it's really sort of stressed with fast charge and fast discharge. And for grid storage or energy parks, you need a long time storage in order to bring the cost down. The other very critical part is that the lithium-ion batteries that all our colleagues that have presented before, it's a mad world. Resources are crazy. They're crazy because of two reasons. First of all, is to extract them, the energy to ship them is crazy. Lithium and all the batteries, with all the raw materials within the lithium-ion batteries, there is not enough. So what happens? The price is going to go up. Volkswagen alone wants to build 200. Tesla wants to build 300 gigawatt plant every other year. So it's just not available. So it's high price, hard to get. If you talk about the cathode has a lot of, yes, nickel, manganese, but the critical part is cobalt. Cobalt is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's a supply chain issue, it's a risk issue, and more so, it's an ethical issue. Then if you talk about the anode, all anodes today have graphite. Yes, we are looking in silicon, we're doing other things, but 86% of this graphite, be it natural or synthetic, comes from China. So if European or American batteries producers that are coming up right, left, and center want to be independent, how? How? I want to know how. We saw all what happened with rare earth, and we're going to see it in other things. China is very powerful, so we have to de-link these risks and supply chain risks. And last but not least, we have copper. Copper is in demand everywhere. We need the charging stations. We need the distribution. Every grid system has to be upgraded in order to be able to serve all these new green electric vehicles and whatever not. Right, and an electric car alone has 2 times more the copper, so copper will become very expensive. Copper is a rare commodity already. So the idea is, of course, is there such a battery that is lithium free, cobalt free, graphite free, and copper free? That would be great. It's obviously because I can detach from these different areas of high prices, but even more so, I want something fireproof, and I want it to be more than 15 years. And there is such a battery, and that's the battery that I'm trying to introduce to you. That battery exists is Serenity. It's a proven scientific process. It's an electrochemical basis that is known since the 80s. It was called Zebra batteries. Mercedes tried to build cars with this battery, but of course it's too heavy, not dense enough. But those cars from the 80s, they still drive today with the same battery. So it goes to show it all works well. And this is a fully working battery developed by Fraunhofer company. It's ready for production. The pictures that you see there, that is actually the module that we are producing. You can go to Germany, you can look at it, I can put it up, and you can charge it and discharge and do your test through your nose, whatever you want. And this battery is fire explosion proof. It does not contain any flammable organic electrolyte. This battery is solid state and uses sodium, which is basically the salt that you use in the kitchen, and a ceramic solid separator and electrolyte which goes through. So it has no plastic separator. It cannot have a runaway. You can throw this battery into the fire. It is not flammable. It cannot burn. So you can put this battery anywhere, in your basement, in your apartment. There's no fire danger, right? It's completely fireproof. But also the battery is completely resistant to any temperature. It doesn't matter what temperature it is, -20, +60. It is really non-existent. It has an internal higher temperature, but you can touch it, everything. The battery can get cold, can get warm, it doesn't matter. That doesn't need to have any thermal management. It's self-sustained and running. So you can park it somewhere, you can use it anywhere. And then, of course, salt. There is no sodium degradation. You have no first cycle loss, no solid electrolyte interface, no hydrochloric acid destruction or whatever. So these batteries, they have huge cycles. And with the huge long cycles, more than 15 years, of course, the battery storage park's operation is much, much cheaper. And that this battery is in different forms or states, it's existing. There are small construction small operator and owner in Switzerland that is producing smaller batteries, which are very costly to produce. There's others coming up, and these are tests that were undertaken that you can find. And it shows that the battery with sodium alumina solid state actually improves even with the cycles up to 600 cycles, whereby everything else is degrading. So this is a super battery that doesn't even require lithium, because my moving electron is sodium ions. So it's lithium free, and it's cobalt free because the battery does not have a cathode. It doesn't need a cathode. Sounds all a bit crazy, but it's very simple, very straightforward. And if you allow me shortly to explain it, and last but not least, there is no graphite, right? So I don't need graphite. So all the things that we discussed before that's going to make batteries expensive is not part of this battery. And this battery is graphite copper free. And that's why the battery is perfect for a different market segment. Let all these expensive items go into the car, because the car needs high density and fast performance. If we shortly go into this, all the tests that have been done, there's two parts. One is the watt per kilogram, which is the speed and performance, let's say fast charge, slow charge, 2C, 3C, 4C, and the other one is the overall density. That's how much power can I store per volume or per kilogram. And you can see the sodium battery lies in the middle. So if you really want to have a fast 15-minute charge, it is not really the one. And if you need very perfect small volume also, but it is the best, it lives long. And when I have a grid storage, the volume and the weight is not really critical. Density and speed is not critical, but I have a perfect power storage to bridge the gap between a solar park production and a solar power consumption. Every solar park, every wind park, every production will be more efficient and make more money. And that's why everybody in the municipality, let's look at a city like Frankfurt. I'm calling in from Frankfurt. The power during peak at lunchtime costs more than €1 to produce per kilowatt, and it's sold for 30. And the energy providers have to do it. If I can do this peak shaving with the battery, it pays for itself. Then I can buy fixed power for grid stability, so milliseconds. And of course, I have complete renewable integration. And this grid storage is, we're going into the market, and first we're going to sell large quantums to energy providers, offtake agreements with energy providers that already operate mega parks, same like Tesla has one in Australia, then industrial parks, industrial users, wind parks, and then only later, once we have many factories up and we can produce enough, then we will go to the private consumer. The grid storage, I think everybody here knows that this is growing rapidly. Every private household actually would like to have it, because you have a solar plant. I don't know how it is in Australia, but in the US, but in Germany, you put it into the grid for 6 cents, and when you buy it back in the evening, you have to buy it back for 38 cents. Same as in Australia. Everybody would like to have it. It makes it so much more efficient. You could even charge with your own solar on the roof. You have a battery. When you come home, you can do a fast charge on your car. You use the grid, you use this, it's going back. It's a huge market. It's 4.4 billion in 21. It's more than 15 billion in 25. So it's rapidly growing, and it's also a matter of availability, right? So, and Serenity batteries, we benchmark them against LFP, lithium-ion batteries. So LFP is lithium iron phosphor. They're a bit more stable, less critical, all the products, but of course also quite expensive to make. Every car maker will have cars at a lower price range with LFP batteries, and then grid storage also now is using LFP, but it's still a lithium-ion battery. Our battery, Serenity, is safer, can't burn, lives longer, at least twice as long, and does not compete with critical resources. Sodium and alumina, you get everywhere. You can build this battery everywhere and buy the feedstock next door. Okay, I'm exaggerating because it has to be a bit purified, but we will do this ourselves. The raw material you get right next door. And this Serenity battery is a simple ceramic tube which is acting as an electrolyte. With inside, you have sodium and nickel material, and that when you positively charge it, the sodium ions go within the wall. So they move through this ceramic cylinder to the outside and form the cathode themselves. This is the charging. You put in there, in the middle, you can see you have the sodium and the nickel, and they combine and they go through the wall, and then you have a liquid film on the outside. And that is working. So you have common salt, nickel metal, and then goes. And when this is how it looks like, this is how the battery works. Of course, we can go into more details, but the same is, this is in a short picture, it moves backwards, the sodium ions moving back. Very little heat generation, very little otherwise. It just totally works. It's a proven system. It works. And all we've done together with Fraunhofer is to make it bigger, better, and more simple. So I can't stretch the point enough that this battery is not in development, it's ready. All we have to do is from the demonstration plant now into industrial plant. And that's what we're working on. So we're planning the first 100 megawatt hour production line in Germany, in Saxony. We're working together with Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer is the world's largest institute with more than 70 institutes in Germany. In my opinion, leading their work from Panasonic to CATL and backwards on all different ceramic battery supplies. So they have in the last 8 years perfected this technology into an industrial product. They have an operating pilot plant in Hermsdorf in Germany, which is near Dresden. We have producing operating modules that have been tested and are continuously being tested at certain consumers. So it's ready. And Altech is the partner because we have the ceramic expertise, we have the land in Germany, we have the funding, and we have the entrepreneurship to bring this to market, and we are plant builders. Myself, for example, I have built many big plants. We know that this is not easy to do and takes a lot of experts and a lot of grit to get this done, but we're good at this and have done it before. So we are in Germany, in the eastern part, in Saxony, which is about half an hour or 45 minutes to the Tesla plant. The CATL plant is in Arnstadt. Northvolt is on the other side. All the new plants. SVolt has now an area very nearby to build another plant. It's the heartland of Germany for e-vehicles, of the German car industry and other industries, which all comes together in terms of battery know-how. And we have purchased a greenfield site, and we are ready to put this together. Sorry, let me put this away. Too much videos. We want to move on. Important part is that Fraunhofer normally sells licenses. They're inventor of MP4, of the solar cell, and all these things. But this is a true joint venture. We are joint venturing 25, 75% with this institute parent in Munich. Fraunhofer is 100% owned by the German government. It's the leading institute, endless resources in terms of know-how. We have not less than 30 people working on this implementation from Fraunhofer. We have other experts. And the company that has the joint venture is called Altech Energy Holdings GmbH, which has been formed with Altech Australia, publicly listed in the ASX, and Altech Advanced Materials in Germany, where I'm calling from, which is listed in Frankfurt. And we have formed Altech Batteries GmbH, which is located in Dresden. We are benchmarking towards the LFP, so we have 900 to 1100 kilowatt hours market price. In Germany, if you want to have a 3 kilowatt hours, I mean, you practically pay 3 times that much at the moment. But what we can say is that our Serenity battery is at least 40–50% cheaper than any other battery you can build. And that is already the cheaper price. But then you go into the life cycle cost, the operating cost, no thermal management, no energy loss, no maintenance. Then you really see what is happening. And our vision, of course, is the 100 megawatt hour first line is purposely built so that we can immediately stack up. And our vision is to build a gigafactory. This is actually our piece of land. We have 14 hectares there. Of course, you don't need 14 hectares for a plant like this. We can build at least 3, if not 4. But this is our area. The land is fully owned by us. And that's it about us. A little bit. Iggy Tan is the group CEO. He's in Australia. That's myself. And Hans-Jörg is our wizard in terms of finance. We have a good board. Of course, everybody has a good board. Otherwise, the company wouldn't be anywhere. but I think I'd like to mention Wilko Stark is on our board. He was formerly at the board of Mercedes-Benz and head of the Mercedes Mobility. We have Werner Klatten in our board, which is part of the BMW family. And we have Nikolaus Graf Lambsdorff, which is the son of Otto Graf Lambsdorff. If anybody knows about German politics, his father was a very important figure in the German politics, and he helps us. Investors are looking at us quite favorably. Australia has a market cap of about $150 million, and we in Germany, we are about $20 million now, a little bit up and down, and we are not raising money presently. We will go in the next round raising early next year when we are ready to start the plant. I'd like you to really contact me directly. It's not for no purpose that I put my handphone there. It's my real handphone number. Don't be shy. Write me an email. And last but not least, Matthias, I'll be in the US the next 2 weeks. Anybody who is in California, I'm very happy to meet you. And that is our story that I'd like to share with you. And I will continue to present to you in the next 6 months until we start construction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, we still have 9 minutes left for Q&A, so all the viewers are welcome to pose questions. The first question is, what's the difference between the German and the Austrian company?
It's not Austrian, it's Australian.
Australian, sorry.
Australian company. There is the Australian company. It's a bit of a natural growth. There's no difference. The only difference is that the Australian company was the original founder, and because we want to enter the European market and want to use the European capital market, we took over empty shell publicly listed company, Altech Advanced Materials, and we are collecting money there. And everything and anything that is of value is owned 75% by the Australian and 25% by the German company.
Okay. And the next question is, where do you intend to source your input materials from?
They will be locally sourced.
Okay.
They will be locally sourced. I mean, like sodium, Germany is known for different sources of sodium, even in a nearby state. And alumina, again, is a locally sourced material, which we will refine to the purity level that is required.
Okay. And you said the technology is already known since the 80s. How come no one else used it before? And how do you make sure that it's your idea is not copied?
Naja, the scientific background, you can download and develop your own battery, and many people are trying, so that there's no issue. The technology know-how really is in that perfection of the ceramic cylinder, in the size and minor electrochemical changes to make this battery. It is not that easy to copy. And then the main part, like the ceramic cylinder and how it's fabricated and how the cover plate is made, is patented.
Okay. And the next question is, there was some criticism regarding the transparency of Altech Group in the smaller media article. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I will reply to that. There was a Pressemitteilung, one smart guy. He was not referring to the battery. He was referring to one of our products, which is a composite material for a lithium-ion battery, which is a graphite silicon material. Now, transparency is a two-edged sword. Obviously, we don't want to talk too many about technical things and what it is. And it is at this stage, we don't really want to do, but I will reply to this. And I think it is a misconception on certain transparency, because I mean, we are publicly listed, everything is transparent with what we are doing. I think they're more referring into how does this work, what are the test data, and yeah, we have listed and made public known most of it, but certain things we don't want to give out. I think it is more important that you really see how this product or this battery works, and the offtake agreements will speak for themselves, and then I don't have to go into technical details. That would be my answer.
Okay. And in comparison to cost, does it also stand the comparison with lithium-ion batteries, or is it more expensive?
It is half price.
Half price? Okay.
Half price. I mean, otherwise it'd be no sense. I cannot build a product that is heavier and cannot be charged as fast, and then it costs more. No, it's half price. Half price in purchase. In operating, you be my guest. If my battery lives twice as long, what does that do to the operating cost? It halves it again. If I don't have energy loss because I don't need to heat it, I don't need to cool it, again, I have cheaper cost, right?
Okay.
So,
do you have already customers signed on for it?
No, of course, we're talking to customers, but we need to get the final DFS out, also the detailed feasibility study. We hope to get out by mid next year, upon which construction will start.
Okay.
But by then I will have it. I'm very sure. Otherwise, nobody will give me money, and then we don't want that.
Absolutely. Yes. Currently, no other questions in the chat, so we still have 3 minutes. So just give it a few more seconds. And so what I'm thinking, probably the most likely use is probably for PV, right? For sun energy, storing it overnight. That would be the best use case for your battery, right? Right next to a big park, solar park.
Yeah, I had one slide where I showed that basically the first users will be energy utility companies, because they're going to build mega parks and then do peak shaving, energy grid protection and stability, and then that this will be the first client. The second clients, of course, it is perfect for wind park, solar park, because you bridge the gap between producing the electricity and consuming it, and that's where the money is. And then later on, if we really have 10 gigafactories, then we will go into the private consumer market, and then these big providers and solution providers will buy the battery from us and then give it into the consumer market. I will only sell batteries ex-factory. I will not operate, I will not have a maintenance team, whatever. My battery is going to be so competitive that I don't need to do this. You order this and then you can have your area and do your maintenance. I will not come into a commercialized company. I build batteries and that's it. And they come in 10 kilowatt packs. You can buy 10, 60 or 5,000 or 10,000. I don't care.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. We have just a few seconds left. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much for your time. And please do contact me if you want to know more and you want to see our progress.